The people scattered in every direction. Their eyes were alive with hysteria. Their panic was a collapsing house, crushing everything under its weight. Nothing could stop the rot. A whole town imploded under the pressure of its own fear. The great bell of the cathedral rang, accelerating the madness, sharpening it, and plunging it into the heart of everyone unfortunate enough to hear it. "We're all going to die," a woman screamed. "Satan's rats have come. No escape. There's no escape." People looked down at their feet and saw black and brown rats scurrying everywhere. Fleas were jumping from their backs onto the terrified people. Locusts and lice began to rain down from the sky. Scurrying spiders riding piggyback on huge scarlet ants completed the horror. "The Black Death is here. We're all damned. God has abandoned us. Repent! Repent! The Inquisition will never come," cried an old man, his face crumpling as he spoke. "No one will survive. No one ever escapes the plague. The warlocks have destroyed us. We're doomed. The town is done for." The black-gowned prophets could be seen on top of their hill. They were watching impassively. They had not moved one iota for 3 days. They could have been statues, only their eyes betrayed the pulse of life. They looked larger than life. Their hill was now completely black and acquiring an increasingly smooth, marble-like surface. It was as though the hill were consciously shaping itself into the town's mausoleum. When the terror amongst the townsfolk was so acute that it was beginning to undermine their collective sanity, the prophet wizards spoke. They spoke as gods. Their voices were not human voices. They were full of echoes, resonances, tones denied to the mass of mankind. "Hear this," they intoned. "Several days ago, we entered a hermetically sealed reality. We saw nothing, heard nothing, felt nothing. We were alone, completely isolated from all interaction with the surrounding world. We stood here, perhaps, for days, silent, totally absorbed, striving to understand. Then the outside came inside. A million rainbows grew around us like the most beautiful photonic flowers. We felt a wind of light blowing against our faces. We saw thunder and lightning, both made from light. Snowflakes carrying tiny lights fell on us. Drops of light filled glowing pools all around us. Many colored lights danced a sailor's jig around us. The whole sky was a shifting tableau of colored light patterns. We looked through 7 supernatural windows and saw the 7 different faces of light, one for each of the biblical days of creation. We knew we had transcended life, escaped from the chains that bound us to normality. We were floating in a universe of light, and we were the only people in that universe. Light storms raged around us. We sailed on ships of pure light over oceans made of light. We saw what reality was. At last we understood it all. Space and time are 2 aspects of light. Mass and energy, particles and waves form the other 4 faces of the perfect cubic expression of light. Overarching the miraculous edifice is the 7th occult face of light, magic. This is enlightenment. Light is all things. Light is the energizing principle, the sacred archeus. The archeus is the origin, the beginning, the original principle that governs the working of the universe. Life is light, and light, when it is broken, is death. Light now demands that we bring death. The universal symmetries must be maintained. Creation and destruction, beginnings and endings, births and terminations. It is time to enter the Dark Ages. Only when all is dark will final enlightenment come. But before the darkness must come, the light show. Wonder and weep, fools. The voice of the apocalypse spoke no more. The sky flashed. Color after color flared over the city. The speed of the flashes increased. Star shells of lesser colors exploded amongst the main colors. A hurricane of light swept over the terrified town. Gales of light spiraled out of the sky and attacked the city. Transparent zombies of light climbed out of graves. Smells and tastes of light fell as rain from the iridescent sky. The people could endure no more. They fled in every direction. Soldiers began to torch huts. Flames leapt upwards. The exodus became more frantic. Great arcs of prism lightning flashed across the sky. Rain pelted down, rapidly followed by scarlet hailstones, and then an all-engulfing snow. The wind had wound itself up until it had almost choked itself to death. Now it unleashed itself, a furious, twisting tornado. It clashed head-on with the snow and sent sprays of swirling white chaos in every direction. The hailstones were hurled like cannonballs. Woodman found himself being carried through the main gates of the town by a screaming tide of humanity. Someone near him was killed by one of the ice balls, his skull smashed to pulp. Children cried, babies squealed, lovers lost their loved ones. Husbands desperately searched for wives or mistresses. Soldiers cursed and shielded their stinging eyes. A woman smashed her son's head against a wall. Colors swarmed. The emotional vocabulary was inadequate. The ache was constant. It burned forever. The town stood on a great flattened mound at the bottom of a spectacular valley. The town was circled firstly by dense woods and then a fabulous ring of towering snow-capped mountains. A river, issuing from an innocuous stream high in the mountains, ran through its center, hollowing out an impressive tunnel through the mound. The only access to and from the reclusive valley was via the thin necks which lay on either side of the river, where it pierced the mountains. No boats could sail upriver because of the strength of the contrary current. Low-lying clouds jostled around the mountain tops and occasionally dipped down into the racing water. This might have been a land for mystics, solitude seekers, the exiled. Instead, it was a haven for the stupid, the normal, all too normal. The river was in a frothing tumult, throwing waves of spray into the sky. It had a perverse color. Woodman remembered that long ago one of his workmates had drowned himself in the rushing current. Thousands fled the dying town. The whole place was ablaze now, the fires casting a raging light over the valley. Light flooded back from the sides of the mountains and gave the illusion of the whole valley being alight. Rivers of illusory flames ran around the ring of stone. The entire world might have been burning. Paranormal flames leapt back and forth from the sky to the ground, from mountain to mountain, from cloud to cloud. Snow and fire form a cocktail most readily appreciated by the mad. They can come and rob you of your sane dreams. What will you do when they remove the sky one night, when they swallow all the oceans, when they fold up reality and place it in a snuff box? They can poke out the eyes of the sun. They can spread their fingers and wipe out 1 billion people. What can you do against that? They speak like the gods. Like Zeus, we speak with lightning bolts and thunderclaps. We are rebuilding Olympus. For centuries, Olympus was hidden, buried beneath Abrahamist and Karmist junk. But we have cleared all of that away now. The seas ahead are open. When we have finished Olympus, we shall then construct Meta-Olympus, the home of the new gods. The investigators see. Nietzsche said, "We investigators are, like all conquerors, discoverers, seafarers, adventurers of an audacious morality, and must reconcile ourselves to being considered on the whole evil." Are you one of the investigators? It's time for the investigators to take over. The investigators must replace the credulous, superstitious masses.